everyone, welcome to Saral English at Sakhar Institute. So in today's video we'll be doing differences between a nuclear family and a joint family. हम आज की वीडियो में करेंगे कि न्यूक्लियर फैमिली और joint family में क्या क्या differences होते हैं. Obviously this is a very common topic in your debates, essays, fine, and maybe GDs also, fine. But what we will do is we will divide this entire video into two parts. मैं ये वीडियो को दो पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करूँगी, fine, because I'll not be doing it as a debate. I'll basically be giving positive and negative points of living in a nuclear family. Then we will discuss positive and negative points of living in a joint family. तो एक हम पूरा एक स्ट्रक्चर डिफाइन करेंगे कि न्यूक्लियर फैमिली क्या होती है, उसमें रहने के क्या फ़ायदे और नुकसान हैं, जॉइंट फैमिली क्या होती है, उसमें रहने के क्या फ़ायदे और नुकसान हैं, so that if you are speaking in favor of nuclear family, fine, तो आपके पास enough points हो. If you are speaking in favor or writing in favor of a joint family, तो भी आपके पास enough points हो, which you can get through my video, because my aim is not to do a debate out here. My aim is to help you when you are in a debate competition, when you are writing an essay or when you are in a GD. तो मेरा main aim ये है कि मैं आपको, जब आप इन सब जगह पर हैं कि आपको कोई डिबेट लिखनी है, कोई एस्से लिखना है, आप जीडी में हैं, ग्रुप डिस्कशंस में कहीं पर हैं, तो वहाँ पर आपके लिए अप्रोप्रिएट नंबर ऑफ पॉइंट्स हो. यू शुड हैव इनफ पॉइंट्स सो एज टू so as to balance your point of view and all. Fine, so let's start. Nuclear family. Now, what is a nuclear family? A nuclear family is a family where there is only just one family. Family means man, wife and kids. Fine? Fine. So husband, wife और उनके बच्चे, that becomes your one family. Fine. This is basically a Western concept actually. Fine, because हमारे यहाँ Indian culture में परिवार means dada dadi, chacha chachi, everything. So this concept of nuclear family, joint family has actually come from your Western world only. Fine, but since it is there and since it is very common topic of discussion, that's why we are doing this topic. Fine. So nuclear family, as I told you, is where there is a man, woman and their kids. So there is just one family, that's why we call it a nuclear family. Fine. Now, what are the advantages of living in a nuclear family? Obviously, in a nuclear family, there are less number of people in the family. Fine. So, the expenditure of the family, or you can say the expenses of the family, is less as compared to your joint family. Fine. आपके खर्चे कम होते हैं nuclear family because there are less number of people. Fine. And you can save more. आप ज़्यादा बचा सकते हैं. The savings can be higher. Fine. And when you are living in a nuclear family, it is very easy to satisfy your desires, to satisfy your needs. Fine. आपकी जो भी ज़रूरतें हैं, आपकी जो भी इच्छाएं हैं, उनको पूरा करना ज़्यादा आसान होता है, because obviously the number of people are less and maybe the amount which is coming in the family is comparatively good. Fine. If both the people, that is both man and woman, are working in the family, fine, then the income is double, and obviously which helps the family in living a luxurious life, or it helps the family in fulfilling their desires and all. They don't have to kill their desires every time. Fine, वो उनको हर छोटी बात पर अपने इच्छाओं को मारने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती है. Then there are some more advantages of nuclear family, like the parents can spend a good amount on the education of their kids. Fine, क्योंकि parents के पास बहुत बड़ी family नहीं है. They don't have, there is no brother or like a sister-in-law or grandparents. So parents can spend a good amount of money on education of their children. Fine, since the family is living separately from the other members of the family, fine, they don't have to live a very disciplined life. Fine, They don't have to follow the strict rules of the elders in the family, fine. They can be on their own. So they are basically living a more free and a liberal life as compared to people who are living in a joint family. Obviously, when you are in a joint family, तो वहाँ पे घर में बड़े बुजुर्ग होते हैं, there are elders in the family, and when there are elders in the family, you have to follow certain rules. There is a certain discipline in the family. In nuclear family also there is a discipline. I don't say there is no discipline in a nuclear family, but the rules are less strict, fine, and people can, they can, they can be a little relaxed with the rules and all, and they can live their life the way they want, fine. In a nuclear family, as I said, the number of people are less, so the requirements are obviously less. So they don't need a very big house to accommodate themselves, fine. They can manage in a small house. That means like they have to spend less on their accommodation, fine. Then in a nuclear family, there is no, unnecessary competition among different members of the family as to how much who is earning, fine. Mostly what happens in a joint family, like if there are 2 brothers, 3 brothers, there is always a competition, fine. And there is a hidden jealousy also among different members of the family, like suppose brother A is earning a higher amount, brother B is not earning as good as brother A. So there is a certain kind of competition among the brothers, among their wives, among their kids, fine. So this is something which is not, it can't be avoided. This is unavoidable basically because it's a human nature, fine. So there is no unnecessary competition, there is no jealousy among the family members towards each other. Rather, they all are happy to see each other grow, fine, because it's a small family and it's your family only, fine. But there are not always there is not always a good side to living in a nuclear family. Obviously there are negative points also, and there are drawbacks also of living in a nuclear family. Now let's discuss the drawbacks. If you are living in a nuclear family, then the kids especially, they don't actually get the love and affection of their grandparents, their uncle and aunts, fine. And it does have they do miss something important in life, and it does have and it does have an effect on their personality, fine, because nobody can replace grandparents' love, fine. So they miss out on the love of their grandparents, of their uncles and aunts. And if you are living in a nuclear family and your other family members are living in some different city, then it becomes all the more, you can say, difficult to visit each other quite often. You may miss out on important functions, important family functions, fine. Suppose there is a function in the family, then if you're in a different city, you may not always be able to visit your native place to attend every small function. So the kids and even the elders, fine, they miss out on family events, family get-togethers, family functions. It is not always possible to celebrate festivals together. And in India, especially in a country like India, festivals basically mean, coming together with the family, enjoying and all. Even if you enjoy with your friends and all, if you have a large group of friends, but nothing can replace family, fine. You do miss your brother on Diwali or Holi or on Raksha Bandhan, fine. You do miss your sister, you do miss your parents on festivals. So that is something which cannot be avoided if you are living in a nuclear family. Then kids in a nuclear family are not as adjusting as kids in a joint family, because obviously they are living in a small family, all the desires are getting fulfilled, fine. So they don't learn to compromise with situations, they don't learn to adjust with others, fine. They don't learn to sacrifice their own desires for the sake of others, fine. But in a joint family, since it's a large family, there are more number of people in the family, fine. So adjusting to each other's desires, adjusting to each other's behavior or nature is very common in a joint family, which makes a person more adjusting. Fine. So that is something which you would see a remarkable difference in the personality of people who have grown up in a nuclear family or a joint family. Then there are other disadvantages also, like if both the parents are working, fine, then it becomes very difficult to take care of the kids if there is no elderly person or if there is no other person in the house, fine. Then you have to be dependent on an outside help, fine. You have to take help of a maid, fine. You have to hire someone to take care of your kids, and your life, it basically runs like a machine, because whole time you are under stress, fine. In the morning, your whole life is running by clock actually, fine, because you're stressed all the time that you have to go to work, you have to dress up your kids for school, you have to prepare their tiffin, you have to cook something for them for afternoon, fine. You have to even bother about their studies and all. So life in a nuclear family without an elderly help and all, it becomes quite, you can say, monotonous. It becomes quite boring, and it becomes quite there is no life in it, you can say. Fine. There is a life without life, fine. So they can go out for on weekends and all, but during the week, you can say the whole the routine is like a clockwork only, fine. So we have discussed fair enough points in favor of nuclear family and against nuclear family. I'm not saying against, we have discussed basically the positive and the negative side of living in a nuclear family. See, I'm not saying that we live in a nuclear family always by choice. Sometimes it's a compulsion also, because we are in a job where we have to move away from our native place, we have to move away from our parents. So it's not every time that a person is living in a nuclear family out of choice, right? Rather, in a country like India, it's mostly out of compulsion, and that too, the compulsion is of job only, fine. So it should not be taken like if a person is living in a nuclear family, it's not good, or if a person is living in a joint family, that's not good or that's very bad, fine. So it's fine. So whatever family we are living in, we should just try to cover up for whatever we are missing in a nuclear family or in a joint family, fine, because it's mostly not out of choice, it's mostly out of compulsion, fine. So that's all for today's class. That's all for today's video. We have basically discussed only the positive and the negative sides of a nuclear family. Here we have not discussed whether it is good to live in a nuclear family or it is not good to live in a nuclear family, because my main aim is to give you the points, fine. So that's all for today's class, and I'll be coming with a next part of this video where we'll be discussing the positive and the negative side of living in a joint family. So see you in another video, see you in another class. Till then, stay tuned, stay connected, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Bye bye.
1, 2, 3, 4